Allo, allo, Internet. My name is John Kulas. I'm a 20-year professor of industrial and organizational psychology, 10-year user of R for statistical applications, and also been using R for the last 6, 7, 8 years or so to author things like slide presentations and academic papers and technical reports and feedback reports. And so every week I just hang out for an hour, sometimes with compatriots, and sometimes more recently just solo. Hopefully, we'll get a few people popping in tonight. But we just avail ourselves to the internet and say, hey, is anyone out there interested in using R to try to author things? Because there's so many nice resources out there. YouTube, in particular, is great for resources to help with authoring things using R, but there's not a lot of interactive stuff. So we thought we'd make ourselves available in case there's interest in kind of doing something more interactive. Sometimes it's just a question of, how do we get started or what's going on. I'm struggling a little bit with the level of presentation here because we're not sure if some people are going to find this intimidating. We don't want to be intimidating. We want to make this accessible to people who are just like, what is this and how do I get involved, for sure. But we also want to cover some different things every week. So if anyone has any suggestions on kind of where to aim these kind of overviews when we go through these overviews or explorations, drop me a note. I'd like to have that feedback. But so what we do every week is we haven't had people come in and say, hey, how do I do this? Or how do I get started? Or I'm stuck on something. Can you help out? What we've been doing, and I just noticed, I have my Halloween theme here. The music was a little scarier tonight than usual. Just the key. It's kind of one of those minor keys, kind of a little unsettling. And then we got this little theme overlay here. I'm not a huge Halloween fan, but I don't know. I can handle some moons and bats and scary houses as long as they're themed appropriately, cartoon themed. That's okay. I actually also found a moose in my house last night, so I don't know if I'm all that keen on scary, creepy, crawly stuff right now, but we'll put up with it for the season, I guess. So every week, I get together. Some, as I said, hopefully we'll have some collaborators show up here. But as we're waiting for people to pop in and ask questions, we just cover features. And so every week we've been able to cover a different feature. This is now the 49th session of these that we've done, so almost a full year. And we haven't had any problem whatsoever covering a new feature each time. And I imagine that's going to continue into perpetuity here. But because the way that we explore things is rather uncharted, each week we will go back and kind of revisit what we did. Usually I lay these out a little more linearly. This week I didn't. It's a really sparse slide deck. If you notice, if you access the slide deck, there's not much to it here this week. But we try to present what we covered last week in a little more linear fashion that's hopefully a little more easily digestible and easy on the learning side of things. And then the focal issue tonight, I'm going to be calling them zombie slides. But really what this is a feature that revealed JS slides. So this is one of the slide types that comes baked into R as an authoring platform if you're interacting with R in the way that we've been interacting with it. And that's using primarily RStudio and RStudio products. RStudio, the product, is now different from the former RStudio company. The former RStudio company is now known as Posit. Everybody rebrands. So using Posit products and the Posit IDE, the development environment. That's the way that we kind of have been authoring things. So within that system, there is the option to control your viewers' progression of slides. So your viewers are going to see what the slide presenter wants them to see. Now, I was thinking this might be kind of neat from an educator perspective. After sleeping on it a few nights, I'm thinking that this might be more applicable in a business setting. That it sounds nice being in control of what the students actually see, but in practice, I can see some issues with that as well. So anyway, we'll cover that and we'll test it and we'll see how that works, and hopefully people will get some idea whether or not that's a feature that they might want to introduce. I think I'm probably going to play with this a little bit myself, even in an educational context. I think I might at least try it and get some feedback from students. Okay, so let's take a look and see what happened last week.
Well, in the Battle of the Box Tops, it looks as if the first round goes to Boris Badenov, for he has succeeded in dumping thousands of counterfeit box tops on the market, cleaning the premiums out of store after store. As a result, box top savers all over the country are seeing their life savings wiped out as their box tops become worthless.
You mean I can't trade these in 25 words or less for an English yo-yo that whistles on the road to Mandalay?
Not even with 50 words or less, Grandad.
You mean my box tops aren't worth anything?
Not a bean, son. There's nothing to trade 'em for.
Gee, 8 years old and I'm a ruined man.
Yes, things were tough all over, especially in the back room of police headquarters, where Bullwinkle was still being questioned.
All right, Moose, are you going to confess or not?
Well, I'd like to, fellas, but I promised my dear old mother
Promised her what?
that I'd never tell a fib.
You know, a lot of these transitions that we've been doing, so Rocky and Bullwinkle, their episodes would be introduced with "When we last met our heroes," and so that's why we're using those as transitions. That'd be kind of fun. But a lot of it stands the test of time. That one does not. So box tops. If anyone stumbles across this and is wondering what that was about, well, I don't know. I guess it would take a lot more explanation for why it's here in an hour-long YouTube session. But the box top element itself, box tops used to collect those box tops off of different types of prepared food or processed foods. So cereals was a very popular one. And so if you had proof of purchase for having this, these companies would have giveaways. And so that's what that was about, box tops. I'm guessing that most people who might stumble across this are like, what the heck is a box top? So I already mentioned that we're kind of light on outline content this week. I just kept it very sparse. So this entire screenshot here is hyperlinked. And so last week what we did was we played with this Shiny Assistant. And so this is a Shiny Assistant that we believe was authored by Posit employees. Winston Chang, I think, was the person that I, in my head, have associated with this, and I'm assuming that he had something to do with this. But it was very, very fun to play with this, and Diego did most of the playing because Diego is more of a Shiny expert, and Diego's definitely more of a how to interact with chatbots and AI and that kind of thing expert than I am. It's very light in terms of the options here that you have, but it's appropriately so, I think. And so there's three levels of kind of annotation and documentation that you can have on the script that's generated for you. And now these Shiny apps, we see that, and we've played with a few of them. I think we have maybe a few snipped. At least one I know. We have a snipped kind of tutorial on using Shiny within authoring applications. But these end up looking like they don't need to be, but oftentimes they look like dashboards and interactive dashboards where the user has some level of control over what's displayed. And so it seems to me like this is going to be a fantastic learning tool because primarily of these three different levels of documentation, annotation that you can have. Now, if you're an expert at this, you might just want it. You just might want the code itself. I'm still certainly at the level with Shiny that I appreciate a little bit or even a lot of supporting documentation regarding what it is that is being generated. So I think let's go with verbose here for this one, and we'll just ask it to make us an interactive app. let's do a fantasy football app and see what it does. I We were playing with canned data sets last time. Um, Make me an app that helps me select a fantasy football weekly lineup. I have no idea what this is going to do because it's going to need some data, and we'll see where it actually gets data from here. Although we did test it with a Star Wars prompt, and it didn't really need data for that. It kind of made its own data frame with just a limited number of characters. So it had 10 or so characters. It had R2D2, it had Darth Vader, it had Luke Skywalker. And here's the annotation you're seeing coming in, which is on the left-hand panel here. So on the right, we're mocking an IDE or a development environment where you have multiple panels. Let me see if I can get my spotlight. I haven't used that for a while, but the spotlight might actually be good tonight. Oops, that's not it. Might be good tonight, just with what we have going on here. So the annotation that I was referring to is here on the left. And then on the right, we see three panes, and those three panes are mimicking a development environment. The one that I'm most familiar with is RStudio, and this looks very similar to RStudio. You have your script here, with the script name being app.r. Now, I don't know how much we talked about this on our Shiny streams, but if you're doing a Shiny app with the intention of publishing it and you want to use some of Posit's products, it's going to be most streamlined if you name this script app.r. That's not just arbitrary. That's actually, it can be meaningful. It can be helpful. It can actually be a little bit of a sticking point if you don't name your app app.r. Again, if you want to host it on one of Posit's kind of canned methods to host these things. So we have our script, and then we have our console down here mimicked in the lower left, and then we have the app itself in the right hand screen. And so let's see what this app is doing for us. So we asked it to make us a football lineup. This first bit seems to be fairly boilerplate. So now across several that we've done, regardless of the level of feedback that we've asked for, it's given us kind of a repeating of what it understands our question to actually be. And so it will allow users to input available players and their projected points. And, okay, help optimize the lineup based on standard fantasy football positions. And then here's the script itself. We do get a little bit of annotation in the script, and that's part of that seems to be part of this verbose, code only, or concise. We played with this last week as well, and the level of notation that we saw in the script itself seemed to differ. And so here you see quite a bit of annotation. You got to kind of, in this environment, you got to kind of look for it. If I were to paste this into my environment, I have a little more visual feedback in terms of my environment. So the comments will stick out a little more. That they stick out by being a little more suppressed. So they're in gray here. They're a little more grayed. But so we're defining the positions, and then we have our UI created here, which looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and quite a bit of input options there. And then it's saying, give me a couple of columns on the input. That's a little different. Usually they put that just in the sidebar. So maybe let's go ahead and run this. I'm going to have to save it if I run it. Okay, so it doesn't like page sidebar. Let's do a quick search for that. Normally, Normally we wouldn't do this, but it looks like it's a bslib option, so we'll make sure that we have the bslib library loaded. It is loaded, so we'll make sure that we asked for it. We did ask for it. So the last thing we'll do is maybe just see if there's an update available. And again, the uh, the kind of neat thing about this looks like there is an update available, and we're quite a bit behind. So we'll see if that fixes it. Um, this is kind of a loop that you get stuck in with RStudio with package installations. This kind of, do you want to restart prior to or not? And so uh, you might need to, at the end of doing this, you might need to actually, oops, looks like I tried to run it before it quit. You may need to cycle through some of that. Yes, restart. No, no, don't restart a few times. And I think I was a little impatient, so hopefully it'll still install. Looks like it will. Okay, so let's try that again and see if it actually runs. I'm so used to running. I'm so used to running these authored projects that one of the things that I did there was I didn't select all. So we get in the habit of just knitting or rendering when you're in a Quarto project or when you're in a Quarto script or an R Markdown script. This run option here switches to a render or a knit, and then I have mine set up so everything everything is evaluated upon hitting that button. And some people don't use that button. Many people like to just use the console, but so that's part of what happened right here too. Okay, so we see it's actually giving me a number of positions. That's funny. It picked up flex, which is kind of fantasy football lingo. Player name. We'll just say Kulas. Kulas is projected for 10 points. Oh, and then it's going to ask me for others. So Diego's not here. We'll implicate him for 20 points. And then we'll ask for it to optimize the lineup. And that's not entirely surprising. It's actually saying, well, in that position, you have one person who's scoring more than another. Um, let's actually, well, we don't need to play with this much more. Anyway, it gave us a simple app, and a simple app that doesn't have any data in it, which is kind of understandable. We weren't that specific in our request in terms of building the app itself. I'm not going to save that, but it is pretty neat. I'm glad that we found it. I'm glad that we explored it, and it's something that I think I'm probably going to be using in kind of my day-to-day work, more likely week-to-week work or uh, you know occasional work when I'm trying to do something shiny-ish. So that's the Shiny AI bot. It looks to me like a great learning tool. So we've mentioned several times how Shiny seems to be just a language in and of itself, or different, unique, kind of hierarchical or qualitatively different from the way that we normally structure syntax using R. And what a great tool to help kind of give you a little crutch to lean on in terms of building your Shiny apps. So I love it. I love the fact that there's different levels of annotation and support, that verbose and concise, and I will be playing with it more. I didn't get a chance this week. We just looked at it last week for the first time. I didn't get a chance this week to incorporate it into anything that I'm actively doing, but there's a couple things on the horizon that I would imagine we could maybe play with. So tonight, what I thought we would do tonight, again, kind of consistent with this, the seasons theme, I guess, is I thought we would play with what I'm calling zombie slides. And again, the zombie aspect of this is simply being in control over what other people see. So I don't know if that's the right use of the word zombie. I guess zombie's kind of a living dead thing, not a puppet, not a marionette thing. But I guess I was thinking of it more as a brainless kind of following of what a master is asking. So let's play with it. We're going to play with it by using this multiplex plugin. Now, these plugins and extensions, some of them you need to install outside of the normal authoring packages that we've been talking about. But some of them come built in. And so multiplex actually, if we have Quarto installed, which I do on this machine, we've been using Quarto and we'll continue, I think, to probably focus on Quarto unless somebody has a question or a request to use a different package. Multiplex comes built in, so we can just try, and I have a weekly kind of template here that we've been using, just a QMD file that I can overwrite, and maybe I'll try to blow this up a little bit such that people can see it a little better. And it won't be terrible for me. So the last time, let's render this and see what it did last time. We used this file last time, and this was this was when we were playing with the presentations. If you look at the symbols there on the bottom, we were playing with all kinds of ways to navigate presentations. I think let's go ahead and, well, so other people can do this. Maybe let's go in fresh. And so I'm going to exit out of my presentation QMD that is linked in the comments, and we'll just ask for a new file, a new Quarto presentation. There might even be an option in here. Now, we've been doing almost exclusively revealed JS presentation types. PowerPoint does not interest me. I could see in a business application, maybe someone might be asking for that. Beamer is going to be limited to PDFs, or the format of Beamer is going to be PDFs. I'm really liking these HTML files, so I think we'll stick with that. I'm going to leave the title untitled for now. The engine is Knitter. We've been using R, so Knitter's the engine that historically has been used with authoring projects when R is the main language. We'll stick with that. So all the defaults here are fine. And I'm going to create that. And now when I knit this, it's going to ask me to save it. So I'm going to save it over that weekly test template. So say goodbye to the kitties and the other fun stuff. You can see I have a lot of, I actually have quite a few things over the course of the last year here that are in this project folder. But we'll say bye-bye to the kitties, and then we'll just get a default presentation here. Starts with untitled, and then the mouse wheel is not enabled on this, so we're going to have to use the the arrows on our keyboard, and just hitting either the down or the right lets me navigate this. Now we can put in some Halloween flavored things. We can say Halloween is at least better than day after election day. And that's going to be a very long title. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. Let's put some Halloween flavored pictures on there, I guess. We can at least do that. So Halloween We'll just search for Halloween, do an image search. Ooh, there's a scary looking pumpkin. So I'm going to copy that address, and then within either our Markdown or Quarto, the and again you can use the you can use the visual editor. I don't. I prefer to write the source code. So up here, if we look in my IDE, there's two options here: source or visual. I learned by using the source code, and I just kind of prefer that. It helps me to be able to read someone else's and go in there and modify things if I want to build some skill actually working with that. So this URL that pasted in was ridiculous. It's not the one we want. Here's a cuter one. We'll see. If you add from the right hand preview, that usually doesn't give you as many issues as adding it from the image itself. So there's our cute image that should be rendered on the first page now. So it says Quarto. We'll change that and say Happy Halloween. And then we'll have our ghosts and our pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern. Sorry, pumpkin. It's kind of like calling a cucumber a pickle or a pickle a cucumber. So Happy Halloween. Let's do a couple of those as long as we have some time here. So let's find another nice image. Why are they all jack-o'-lanterns? This one reminds me of Peanuts. I don't know if it is Peanuts, but he or she is under a sheet, so I guess I shouldn't be making that assumption, but I think this is Linus. Could be Lucy, or it could just be completely not related. And actually, you know what? The way that those lines are drawn, these two lines here up by the head, those tell me that that's not Charles Schultz. So I'm guessing that's not Linus. I think I know Snoopy pretty well. That does not. Oh, and there's some shadowing. Yeah, so that definitely isn't. Nope, that's not Linus, but we can say Happy Halloween. Let's do one more picture just so we have a little bit of content here. Oh, that's spooky. I like that. You know, maybe we'll do this one as the entire page. So we'll see. Let's do that. Let's see if we can make this entire image the page. And we should be able to set it as the background. And we'll do a quick search here and see how to do that. I've done this before. I've done that before, but I haven't done it for a while, so it won't hurt to. Although that doesn't look bad by itself, does it? All right, let's leave it like that for now. And you can see the way that I have my previews coming up is they're coming up as new tabs in my browser, and that's kind of the way I prefer it to be. It works that way for me also if this were a PDF, and I kind of like that. So to get the multiplex feature going, we're going to do a hard return in a tab on reveal. Then we're just going to say multiplex. Multiplex, I believe the command is true. Now I lost my slides, so I'm actually gonna navigate to the online slides here and see what multiplex true. Okay. And we can also check out what it says on the multiplex help page as well. It's gonna give me two different HTML files, and that's fine. That's expected. We're gonna be looking in our files tab here for those. And so let's go ahead and render that and see what changes here. Now you're probably gonna see it change in my environment, in my Git environment as well. That's my upper right hand pane, and that's because I'm working within a project folder. Project folders are something that I learned about only after using R for probably I don't know, 5 or 6 years. I don't think I can go back. So this is a great way to work with R and R Studio is to have those project folders. But I see that I now have a speaker HTML file and I also have a weekly test template. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to publish it. And so that's actually, it's telling me I can republish. I don't want to republish. Oh, you know what? I probably did test this out. So that's why it's asking if I want to republish. I don't even remember doing that. But when we decided to do these zombie slides, I'm sure I probably did a test publication here. And so what you're seeing is you're seeing a walkthrough of using some of Posit's products, free products, to actually go ahead and publish this. This is how I publish the slides weekly. And so anyone can get this. And there you see our content. So if we were to uh, um, copy the URL here, I'm going to put this in the comments. And only people that are currently here. Oh, this is awesome. I think we might have a compatriot here who can help out. But so, um, let me see. I'm not sure if he's actually here. But we'll
Vamos a ver,
try
¿qué es
to.
lo que pasa con los alcaldes? ¡Ja! ¡Ja! ¿Qué es lo que pasa con los alcaldes? ¿Qué es lo que sí, qué está pasando con los alcaldes?
Hey, hello.
Oh, you are here. I couldn't see you. So, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. I celebrated earlier actually. We went on Sunday to Lambertville. That's like a town that's really old timey, has very old houses and lots of cool Halloween decorations.
Oh, okay. And Millie wasn't scared?
No, she was cold actually. We had to leave earlier because it was chilly. It was getting chilly outside.
How about you? Were you scared?
No.
Well, we're talking about zombie slides, Diego, which are kind of. Have you seen this multiplex feature?
So that's like in your phone, like if you're giving a presentation and you switch slides, it also
Yeah.
switches on the device of the person looking at it, right?
Yeah. So now if you go to, I just put it in the, I put it in the comments. Let me see if I can put it in the private chat as well. There, it's in the private chat. The problem with Diego and I sharing links is it's hard to copy stuff because they're hyperlinked. But if he goes to that, and I'm actually going to go to that as well. So this is what it looks like online. Now, theoretically, if I pull up my speaker file, my speaker file should be controlling not just what I see, but what other people see as well. This is the zombie aspect of things. So I'm going to see what happened to. So are you that? Were you able to pull that up, Diego?
Yes, I'm looking at it.
Okay. So I'm gonna try to get one on my screen as well, and I'm just gonna have to be
Do I share?
cognizant. I'm gonna have to be cognizant of like which one is which. So on the left I have my zombified, and on the right is my speaker screen. So on the right is the one that it's just on my local computer. Now if I advance it, it should be automatically advancing other people's. Is that happening? It's
Let me
happening
see.
with me here.
Yeah, it's happening. Yeah, I can see the slides changing without me
Okay.
doing anything.
Well, that's pretty cool, actually. So, Diego, I was thinking about this, and as what do you think students would think about this if we did? So, if we had like a normal lecture, just a chapter of a book or something, and now I think this would be good over Zoom. So, if this were a virtual class, I could see this being good. But if we're just sitting in class, I was wondering if this would be something that people would like or not.
Huh. Well, if it's online, I mean, they're already going to be seeing your screen all the time, and they'll see you switching slides anyway, right?
Yeah, good point.
And if it's yeah, in person, I can see that if they're like I don't know, like if some of them have some kind of impediment that requires them something I don't know, some kind of visual impediment, and they need like a laptop specific for them. But yeah, also if they're just I don't know,
Now,
because I don't see it being that big of a problem keeping up with the slides, right?
right, yeah, right. Yeah, I was thinking almost that I the virtual thing is probably where this is most useful. Now, the interesting thing is, did you notice that some of what I look at is being duplicated for you guys as well? So the slide overview, you're getting that as well. But if I look at speaker view, I'm getting a second I get a second window that pops up for me that that you guys don't see. So now this is like three levels of zombification because if I advance through here, I'm able to actually control everybody's, including mine. This is getting multiple layers of kind of difference here. We can initiate that auto slide feature. That might be, let's see if we can do that. Porto auto slide. So I don't remember it is auto slide, I guess, is the command. So I'm probably going to have to republish it though. So I'm going to set the auto slide to some ridiculous number again. And then I'm going to try to republish that. I'll be really curious to see how this works. Although this won't rely as much on me unless I stop it. So I guess, I don't know, we'll see. Again, we're just kind of testing this out here. Diego, do you have a Halloween themed name that you want to go by?
Halloween theme name? I don't know. Mel Brooks.
Okay.
I know,
Well,
like that Dracula movie that he made with what's his name? Niels. What is it? You know the guy that's always in the Naked Gun movies.
oh, Leslie Nielsen. That was
Yeah,
that wasn't Mel Brooks, was it?
Dracula. Yeah, that was Mel Brooks. Or at least he's in the movie. He plays Van Helsing.
Mel Brooks does?
Yeah, in a
Okay.
Dracula movie.
Um, so if you refresh the book down link now, you should have this auto slide. Is it going or not?
Yep,
Okay. So I'm gonna try to pause it and see if yours pauses as well.
still going.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, still going.
Okay. So, okay. So again, we're kind of testing the limits of this. So one of the things that might be happening here is the auto slide might not be working well with it. That's fine. It's good to know. I'm gonna take it off then. And I don't know, what else should we test with this thing? I guess we can take a look and see if, even though the presenter has control, if the viewer can override that control, right? So I'll try to go to a slide and we'll see if Diego, if you can ignore me. So go ahead and refresh and you should have that again. Oops. I'll try to do it too. So I forgot the doggone URL. I'm gonna have to write it down here. Book down. There we go. So are you done with Halloween now, Diego, or are you gonna try to do one more thing?
I might go. We might go again to Lambertville on Thursday. Problem is that Millie also has a doctor appointment that day.
Well, that'd be perfect then. That'll like be, a little pain and a little pleasure.
Yeah, something. She'll actually be terrified of something. Yeah,
Well, that's yeah. I don't know if that's good or not, but
that's the whole point of Halloween. Why?
that's true. Now, what is she dressed as?
We were thinking on dressing her as a hobbit, but I don't
What
know.
is what does that mean? Just big hairy feet mostly?
Yes.
Well, I guess she's the right size, right?
Well, I guess it would be better when she actually walks. She's not walking yet. She just stands if there's something for her to hold on to.
And I'm guessing that she understands the whole I get candy part of it.
Well, we don't give her candy yet because
Okay.
it's not good for her teeth.
Yeah. Well, she's gonna lose her teeth anyway. Isn't now the time you should give her candy?
I know, that's what I told Danny. But she's like, no.
That's 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 why it's important to have women around. So, like, because our logic probably isn't healthy. So, my master slide here is on the right, and I'm gonna see if I can supersede that. So, if I'm sitting in class or I'm sitting in a meeting and I say, this happy Halloween slide is boring me, I wonder if I can go ahead. And yeah, you can. But now the question is if the speaker decides that the title slide is most important, yeah. So it looks like you can supersede it until the presenter says, "Okay, we're gonna go to the next thing now." So that's the way it should be. I don't know. This is pretty neat. It is kind of spooky. I mean, it is appropriate, I think, for Halloween that you can just take control like that. The other thing I was gonna do, since we're just kind of killing time here, I think, is I was gonna stretch this to be background. Just kind of show people how to do that. I haven't done that for a while either. And so I'm just gonna do a Google search here and Stack Overflow. I got made fun of for still using Stack Overflow, but I know that there's a stretch div that we can use, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. I don't want it to be in my YAML. I want to actually just be able to use it. Our stretch, I don't think that's exactly what we want. We'll just take a peek through here. Diego, is there anything coming up that you want to cover on these sessions? Was there any feature that you'd like to cover or anything else that you think might be interesting to take a look at?
Other than the multiplex.
Yeah. I mean, not for tonight, but for like within the next few weeks.
I'll have to give it a think. I'm sure I'll think I can find something about authoring
Okay.
that could be
Yeah, or
cool.
the there you go, stretch, I think is what I was thinking. Oh, stretch is vertical. Let's see what that does. Um, one of the popular ones that we had was your more more kind of analytical one.
Oh, the one with the what was it called? The graphical EFA.
Yeah.
Yeah, saw on LinkedIn that he released something else related to that. I don't remember
Oh,
now.
really?
He was gonna release um, a package or a paper about it.
Okay. We could look at that again, or um, if you want to do something more analytical, we could do that too.
Yep. And then Katrina also talked about showing our dashboard to her students.
Okay.
Just not sure when exactly to do it.
Well, yeah, we gotta. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit and look for the command in my script, in my previous script, because I know we have it. We actually have it in. I know which one we have it in too. It's the parallax one, but I don't know what date that is. Um, the Yeah, I've been telling people about our app as well. Uh, but I still think we need to do like a tutorial on how to use it. You know, how long ago did we do that parallax? I'm looking for. Wasn't
It was like
that?
2 weeks ago,
Was it that long ago?
or maybe 3 weeks ago.
There it is. 10.1. So I know on 10.1 I did do. I'm gonna look at my QMD for that. I did have a command there to fit as a background image. Oh, center background image. So I used it on the title is what we did. So we could actually use that on the title here. And so I'm just going to paste in. So our stretch wasn't what we wanted. What we wanted was this URL here. And so the command is just center background image. I think that should work. We'll see. Yeah, there we go. So now we got a big old spooky. I don't know if that's any better. Actually, I don't like that as much. I don't think well, it's not bad in full screen. I don't know. That could be a nice wallpaper, actually, I suppose. What do you think?
Hmm.
You like it better stretched like that, Diego, or do you like it better as like a little image?
I guess stretched.
Okay. All right, we'll leave it. I'll republish that then. And then these as well. So, we could still put a title on here and say, boo. And the image itself should be separate from that. It is there, but it's hard to see. So you'd probably want to wrap that actually. So let's go ahead and give that some CSS. I'm trying to think of default CSS that we can use. I have a bunch of customized CSS, but we would have to actually access our custom file. I guess we could do that. You can see all of the different kind of funky things
Well,
we have.
Gloria, Hallelujah.
Yeah, you want to see what that one is? We'll try that one. I have to call up the CSS file, however, and so in my YAMLs, all my YAMLs, there's a CSS call out as well as theme. We're gonna get rid of theme. We just want to stick with the white theme here for this. But I should be able to call out that weekly CSS file. See what that looks like. I don't remember what that was. Boo. We can blow that up too, so we can change the size of it. Let me see. Change the font size, make it bigger. I don't know if I like that font actually. Of all the fonts that we've seen and created, oh, I'm sorry. I did mess with the background because it's in the larger weekly file. Boo! There it is, nice and big. Let's try a different one on there just because I don't even remember what this is. Electric. This file has gotten so big, but there's some neat stuff in there. There's some neat fonts. Let's see what electric is. Oh yeah, electric looks electric.
It
That makes
looks
sense.
like it was made um, by Electro.
Yeah, by the Spider-Man villain.
Yeah,
Now that'd be a cool thing to go as for Halloween. Electro.
and you have one of those joke, that you put in your hand, and if you shake someone's hands, it gives them a charge, a
You
shock.
know, I had two of those, and I don't know why I had two because the first one was such a disappointment. You know what they were? They were little twist up vibrating things. They didn't actually give electric shocks. But we got them from the back of comic books. And there were all kinds of neat stuff you could get in the back of a comic book. You could get x-ray glasses, you could get like a cardboard submarine, you could get a shocker thing, you could get a whoopee cushion. Whoopee cushions were fine, but the shake your hand thing, that was just disappointing. I don't know.
Oh damn it!
Did you never had one of those?
Nope.
Yeah. I'm sure there were real ones that somebody probably made and sold, but the ones that um,
They figured out that it can kill people. It can give them heart
probably,
attacks.
well, I think this was before they cared so much about that. They're like, they probably had like an allowance of people that were like, well, only 35 people died of shock this year, so we're okay. All right, cool. Well, we tested out zombie slides. I'm pretty happy with that. And then Diego, think about maybe something that you want to take a look at because I don't have any ideas right off the top of my head for next week. Other than I was thinking since today was something um, Halloween themed. By the way, what do you think of our layout with the moon and the bats and then the house on the lower right?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah, we should have more theme streams.
Okay.
So next week is gonna be. I guess we're getting close to Thanksgiving.
Well, next week it's election day.
Oh
So
yeah.
so that might also be so we could either do like flags and stuff, or we could just do I don't know pre-apocalyptic before because no matter which way it goes, I think there's going to be riots. So we could just stick with the zombies because we might have another post-apocalyptic zombie theme.
Oh damn it. Or we can just have like the Simpsons when they had that Halloween episode where aliens disguise themselves as the president. That's like Bill Clinton and the guy who was running against.
Okay, yeah, maybe we can put them up. Kang and I think one of them's named Kang. I don't know, Kang and Kong or something. All right. Well, think about what you might want to take a look at for a feature, for exploration feature, and then maybe Thursday we can chat about what Katrina was thinking about with her students.
Yes. All right. I forgot about our meeting on Thursday. Yeah, I'll be this Thursday. I'll call you.
Or if we need to do some other day, that's fine too.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Diego.
Okay,
See ya.
have a good night. See you.
All right. See you, everybody.